median, mode, and range. That is section 8-2 in our unit. And let's begin by going over here to mean, and let's get a definition in place. Like, what is mean? Mean is the average value. The average value. Okay? How? Well, we find it, and that's what it's asking, by the sum of all data values. So you would take that, you get the sum of all data values, you add them up, and then you divide number of data values. So like if there were 8 sets or 8 numbers, you would divide by 8. Okay? Now let's look at an example of this. And an example of this could be, for instance, 94.98, right? Divide 10, and you get 9.498, or if we're dealing with money, then this would be about $9.50. Okay? And then this note over here refers to outliers. An outlier is a number that can skew the mean. And if I were to identify one, then I could state that it would be like $28. Okay? Now, an outlier, I'm going to put this information right in here. An outlier as a value much higher or much lower than the rest of the numbers. Okay? Okay, now, so the note that reason I put the outlier here as just something that is so much higher, so much lower, and the reason for that is because mean is best for data sets without outliers. I'll abbreviate without outliers. For instance, I bet you get frustrated, guys, if you have a bunch of really good grades and one very bad grade, and it brings your grade down. Well, that grade technically could be considered an outlier because it really skews the typical data that you have. Okay? All right. So let's see here. Let's go over to this. What we're going to talk about now is the median. And if there appear to be two numbers in the middle, their mean or average is the median. Okay? Otherwise, median is the middle number when the data is ordered in numerical order. When data is in numerical order, like least to greatest, greatest to least. Okay. Now how do we find it? Well, we put the values in order from least to greatest. And find the center. The center number. Okay? And then, like I said, if there's 2 in the middle, you add them together and you divide by 2 to get their answer. Okay, let's look at some examples like 4, 4.5, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 9.99, 9.99, and 28. All right, so if we were looking at this and we are going to find the middle number, I could just go this way and cover these up or mark them. Right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers, which means the 5th one is the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the middle number. And so your median is $8. Okay. See, we're using all this information from the t-shirts on here, if you were asking. And a note that the median is the best measure to use when there are outliers. When have outliers. Okay? Alrighty. Now, let's go in the middle here and fill in this blank. Okay? Let's talk about measures of central tendency. So values that represent the center or a typical item in a data set item or number in data are called measures of central tendency. They include mean, median, and mode. I'm going to put in parentheses, not range. Okay? Now let's go over to range. What is range? Range is the span of the data set. Meaning from the biggest number to the littlest number, or the littlest number to the biggest number. So how do we find the range? We subtract. Greatest number minus least. Greatest minus least. Okay? Let's look at some examples of that. If you go back and look at the t-shirts and all over this page, the largest cost of a t-shirt was $28. We're going to subtract the cheapest one, which was $4, and you get a range of $24. All right? So let's put a little memo here, okay? Range, not a measure of central tendency. Okay. Let's go over to this last one here, mode. Okay, so mode. What is mode? It's the value that appears the most. How do we find it? We just count how many times we see the value. Okay, that's pretty easy, huh? And then examples. If you go and you look at all the t-shirts listed on this page, all over this page, 2 times you're going to find $8 t-shirts. And 2 times you are going to find $9.99 t-shirts. Okay, notice when we made the big list up here, oh, and I forgot to put another 8 there, sorry. There was 2 8s in the middle. So make sure you have an extra 8 there. I didn't do that correct, did I? Okay, so there can be one mode, no mode, or there can be more than one mode. As long as we pick the ones that repeat the most if they're the same amount of repetitions. Okay? So my apologies that I should have had an extra 8 up there when we looked at the shirts. So note, mode is best for non-numeric data. Like how many shirts do you have in red compared to blue, things like that. Non-numeric data. Okay? So best for non-numeric data. There you go.